So rapper P-Diddy, big time rapper, record producer. He's the guy who made Biggie Smalls. He's the guy who made Bad Boy Records. Huge in the New York rap scene from the 90s and early 2000s. P-Diddy's huge. And P-Diddy was speaking about this 2020 election and what Joe Biden needs to do in order to win over the black vote, that he has to earn it. So check out what he had to say.
In order for us to vote for Biden, we can't be taken for granted like we always are because we're supposed to be Democrats or because people are afraid of Trump. It's whoever's going to take care of our community, whoever wants to make a deal. It's business at this point. We can't trust politicians, so we want to know very clearly, just like Trump made it clear that he wanted to build a wall, Biden needs to make it clear that he's going to change the lives and quality of life of black and brown people, or else he can't get the vote. I will hold the vote hostage if I have to.
I will hold the vote hostage. That's powerful words right there from P. Diddy, and that's a sentiment that I'm not hearing a lot coming out of just mainstream culture in general, man. Like, a lot of people are just kind of falling in line, as he said, whether that be fear of Trump or whether that be loyalty, blind loyalty to the Democratic Party. And this is oftentimes what a lot of people in the African-American community end up doing. Right? This is particularly, like, across the country, of course, but particularly in the black community. This is what they do a lot of times. We're blindly loyal. We're fiercely loyal. And we're easily feared into doing what we think we need to do because our community's been oppressed. It's been disadvantaged for so long. So we have too much to lose. Our butt is on the line. And we feel like we can't risk anything. We have to take what we can get. Come out to vote, even if it is for the lesser of two evils, because that is better than the alternative. That's a lot of people's mindset. But see, here's the problem with that. Even the lesser of two evils, at this point in American politics, they ain't good for you either. Joe Biden's policies ain't been good for you either. They're throwing your brothers and sisters in jail. They're throwing people who look like us in jail. He's been about that since the 70s. He is the reason. His votes, his policy decisions, his influence is the reason millions of innocent black and brown people were thrown behind bars. He is the reason we don't have universal health care and y'all can't afford to go to a doctor. He is the reason your kids can't afford higher education. He, in part, is the reason why many of us are working for starvation wages. That's what Joe Biden's represented. He's done nothing for this community. He stood for the oppression of this community. And even though he may be marginally better than Donald Trump, that shouldn't just be enough for us to throw our blind support behind them. This gets to the larger point, bruh. What a lot of times what the Democratic Party likes to do is they set the framework, right? They move the goalpost a little bit for you. Where the regular framework is, what logic is, it says, we probably deserve to have higher education insured for our children. We deserve to have universal quality, high access healthcare for all of our people. That's what we deserve. We deserve a living wage. We deserve a sustainable immigration policy. We deserve to have a planet that isn't dying. But then, here's what Democrats love to do. They say, no. They manipulate and they control you and switch that framework, make it more narrow. They change your scope of what's possible, change your scope of what's deserved for you and your family. And they end up doing this right here. They say, no, the framework's this. The framework's this. Right? You don't deserve universal health care. You don't deserve tuition-free college. That's not achievable. That's unrealistic. That's pie in the sky. That can't get done. But you know what will get done because it appeases my corporate donors? Is Obamacare. Right? They give you little bones. They say, hey, if I give you this little bone, if I free nonviolent drug offenders, if I make sure that immigrants' children don't die and they can stay in the country, if I give you Obamacare, you take your victories and you go home. You appreciate the little crumb. Appreciate the little crumb and be grateful for that crumb. That's what they do. That's what they do. You deserve the full course meal. The standard, the moral imperative is to have the whole thing, the whole meal. But they say, no, I'm going to only give you a crumb. And they manipulate and control you into thinking you don't deserve the full meal. And then they give you the crumb and tell you to be grateful. That's how they keep us in line. And they've been doing it since the beginning of time. But it's especially evident today. And it has to stop. And look, dog, I'm going to keep screaming this. They have to earn our vote. They have to earn it. And by earning it, what do I mean? I mean that for 50 years, you have pushed forward policies and made decisions that showed us you are not trustworthy. You are beholden to corporate interests. You're beholden to Wall Street, MBNA. He's their guy. He's beholden to the to the foreign policy interests that want these wars overseas. You're beholden to them. You're beholden to the donors because you cared more about your career and your influence than the lives of average folks. So now you got to earn back our trust. And what do I mean by that? Earning our vote, earning our trust. Denounce the corporate money. Don't go to the billionaire fundraisers and tell them, quote unquote, nothing will fundamentally change. Instead, give us a progressive VP pick. Instead, give us real concessions with the progressive cabinet. Don't court people like Larry Summers into your campaign. Don't court people like Jamie Dimon and Michael Bloomberg into your campaign. Don't stick to the neoliberal corporatism of the Obama administration when y'all had Citigroup approved people regulating the people they just come from. That's blatant corruption. You've stood for 50 years, and we need real concessions and concrete promises that show that you're not just gonna turn our backs on us once you convince us to vote for you, but that once you get in there and you have all the power, that you're not gonna turn your backs on us, that you are beholden to us and not corporate interest. Real concrete concessions that show that you're about the truth now and not just the corporate influence. And if they don't, this is the thing, bro. Joe Biden's already losing support. He's already not trusted by even large parts of the black community. 1 in 4 black voters say they're either undecided or they are going to vote third party. 1 in 4. We're always about big Democratic Party. We're always there for the Democratic Party, a consistent base of support. But now in this election, 1 in 4 of us are saying maybe not. 1 in 5 young voters are saying, I'm either going to go third party or I am undecided and will not vote. Joe Biden doesn't even have half the support of the Latino community, also a strong base of support for the Democratic Party. What does that show you? We don't trust him. This isn't just me yapping my mouth. This isn't just me spewing crap. The fact is, the policies this guy has pushed for 50 years have devastated our communities. Just because you're scared of Trump and the media has convinced you that this man is literal Hitler, that does not mean that we can turn our eye to that. We can't afford to do that. Not in these times. Not with 20+% unemployment. Not when the government is abandoning us, giving us crumbs as they give trillions of dollars to the corporations, and blatant corruption before our very eyes. Not when they're allowing people to die, if that means that businesses can stay open and their corporate leaders can continue to make money. They're abandoning us. We cannot afford to have yet another corporate puppet in office, so they need real concessions. And I hope that Joe Biden cares enough about that. I hope that the Democratic Party establishment and Joe Biden care enough about winning, and that they will concede and show that and they will concede because they start to realize that if they don't, they won't win. I hope they care enough about winning to actually make those concessions, because it is becoming abundantly clear that if they don't begin to, people like me, P-Diddy, 1 in 4 of the African American community, 1 in 5 of young voters, over half of the Latino community will not be showing their support for him in November. Hope they care enough about losing that election, because that's where we're going if they don't begin to show us some respect and earn our trust, earn our vote.
Chilling with the boys, yeah, we making all this noise. Can't complain, riding in the fast lane. To the top, we don't stop, up till past 5 o'clock. Smoking trees.